the worst eyeliner I've tried in a long time. I've got a whole basket here. It's gonna be a big one. Alright, so today we have another speed reviews video. These are where I do quick reviews on a bunch of products I've been testing. I usually feature these first in other videos, whether it's like a try on haul, first impressions video kind of thing, vlog. And now after I've tested them more, these are my updated thoughts. So everything is linked down below in the description box. Buttered popcorn just popped in my head. That's the craving I currently have. Honestly though, ooh, movie theater popcorn right now. Before we get into the speed reviews, I did want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is kindly Anisa Beauty. Whenever I get to work with them, it's exciting because I'm already using their brushes in every single video, any vlog where I'm doing my makeup. So today I wanted to highlight 3 of my favorite brushes for you, and you'll see me using them in some of the speed reviews clips too of like applying the products. Normally my code Taylor will give you 15% off, but right now it'll give you 20% off for a limited time. So the 3 brushes I'm talking about will be linked down below with a couple other of my favorites. But Anisa Beauty is cruelty-free, made with synthetic fibers, and I just feel like the shape and the design of them compared to other brush brands I've tried are unique. Especially, you guys know, concealer, powder, 2 brushes that I feel like are for me the hardest to find brushes that I love. And they have the perfect amount of density, both of them. They're soft but still dense and blend things out in like the right amount. The concealer brush fits perfectly underneath your eye, especially like today where I did my eye makeup after. It's so nice because you can also just like turn it like this and get that sharp edge. I used it today down the bridge of my nose as well. You can also actually use this for cream highlighter. Like it's the perfect kind of size for blending that out too. So that's what I did today as like a little blush topper kind of thing. I used that and blended out on my cheekbones as well. If you struggle finding a good powder brush, and not just powder, like you can use this in different ways. It's actually called the multi-powder brush, and that's because you literally can. You can use it for bronzer. I use it a lot of times for powder bronzer, face powder. Today I did my Amicale powder all over my face because my foundation was looking a little rough, just blurred things out nicely. The shape of this, how it's angled, just fits your face because every bristle, the way it's shaped, is hitting your face. I find myself using a lot of the Anisa Beauty brushes in different ways, so I like that because there you can get creative with like how you use brushes. Like today, this one's the tapered highlight, which I love for loose. Like if you have any kind of loose powder highlight, blush topper, or just like a really dense highlighter, like an intense one, but that you want to kind of like soften without getting that stripey look, this is amazing because it's a little bigger, but it's still tapered, so you can still get it where you want it. I love using this with Laura Mercier. I actually recently showed that in a vlog? Applying a loose powder Laura Mercier highlight, I've been loving using it in that way. Today I actually used it for blush though. Again, multi-use, you could use it for powder contour. So all 3 brushes, along with a couple other of my favorites, if you're shopping on there or want some other ideas, are linked down below in the description box. And again, the code Taylor will give you 20% off their website right now. All right, let's start off with an SPF that I was really excited to try because I feel like I've heard good things about this on like Instagram stories, and I feel like I had good Amazon reviews, but it's the Dermatology Universal Tinted Moisturizer SPF 46. So tinted SPFs sometimes can just be tinted enough to where there's no white cast, but they're not providing any kind of like really color or coverage. And that's how this is, which they call this a tinted moisturizer, not just like a tinted SPF. So I feel like if it's a tinted moisturizer, to me, this doesn't have, doesn't have any kind of coverage at all. I would say it's like very, very, very sheer. It's basically just, like I said, canceling out the white cast. So I wouldn't get this thinking it's going to be like an actual tinted moisturizer. This is going to be one of those videos. We're on product number 1, and I've said this like 35 times. This one I don't love for a few reasons. First, it is very oily looking to me. Like it's not even glowy to me, it just looks like straight up oily. It also feels a little too thin, a little too oily to me. I just don't love this one. It's not one that I'm going to reach for. I feel like there's better SPFs out there, and this is expensive too. I think this is like $45, $49 I want to say. So I can't recommend this one. Let's switch it over to a more affordable SPF that I do like. I have a few SPFs here, but this is the Misha SPF 45. So this is a Korean one. At first I was like kind of put off by this because it does have a little bit of a floral scent, which I don't love, but the formula of this is really nice. It does have a glow, but it's not too glowy, and what I like is that it really absorbs into the skin while still keeping the glow. So it doesn't have like a super tacky or like greasy feel at all. It really sinks in like to the touch. On the glow level, I would say it's medium. It does feel nice and hydrating, zero white cast at all, just clear as it blends out. Feels nice and lightweight on the skin. I do like this one. I wish there wasn't a fragrance in it. I actually have been liking that one though. I'm gonna jump around, then we'll come back to the other couple SPFs I have here. Okay, the Lawless Perfecting Powder Skin Smoothing Powder. This is like I think it's like a powder foundation. It does have a decent amount of coverage. I think it's about medium coverage. I have two different shades, light and light medium. Light medium I would say is like my good tanner shade, and then light is doable for me on fair skin. It's like slightly dark but has a nice neutral undertone. I like this one. I'm going to show you applying it as like a powder foundation, and then also how I kind of prefer it, which is as a setting powder. But I like this one. It does give a totally matte, just like very soft kind of finish. A natural looking matte finish, doesn't look cakey at all. Even as a powder foundation, it does look just like nice and smooth. And I have dry skin right now. I had like a burn right here and it was flaking, so that's going over pretty dry skin. It does a really nice job of like flattening your skin a little bit without looking too matte. Doesn't look cakey at all. You can still see like the sheen coming through. Even on my forehead where I used it, like you can still see the glow. It just kind of like tones it down a notch and flattens everything out. So I feel like it's a really nice powder if you're someone who likes either, you know, you're using a matte foundation, you want to just soften everything out with a matte finish, or if you're someone who likes a glowy finish or like a satin finish and it's hard to find powders that are blurring without being completely mattifying, the glow still does come through this one. So I feel like it's a nice, unique powder in that way. I wouldn't say it's like the most, you know, pore filling, super blurring. Like if you want a really, really blurring pore filling powder, I would still recommend the translucent Amicale powder or the Urban Decay one. But for just like an overall softening kind of setting powder that has a bit of coverage, that one's really pretty. And I also like that it has coverage because sometimes I just want to add like, you know, say you put on a tinted moisturizer and you're like, actually I need a little bit more right here. You just kind of throw it on and it gives a nice even amount of coverage. First off, I love how Revolution changed their packaging. They made it like less bulky, less plastic it seems. It's just much more thin, which is so much nicer than like the big compacts that they used to be. So I loved the Revolution. I'm going to put the shade on the screen. The one I love is this one. The shade Make an Impact to me, this is the highlighter reloaded by the way. This shade is Make an Impact. I got it because I wanted one for like my tanner shade, a little bit goldy. And this one looks like it's gonna be like a rosy gold in here. I don't know, the formula of this one feels different to me than the other one, where it just looks a bit too texture on my skin. Even using with like a bigger, fluffier brush, which can help with products like this, it just looks a little too like shimmery, stripy textured on my skin, and I also don't love the shade. So that's interesting because I do like the lighter shade of this one. And then kind of another miss from them, actually a big miss, is the blusher reloaded in the shade Peach Bliss. This looks like it's going to be a really pretty peachy tone in here. I love a lot of Revolution products, so I was thinking like can't go wrong with like a matte blush, you know? This one just is not pigmented. You have to dip your brush in literally 30 times to get pigment on your cheeks. So I'd say probably only get this if you have very fair skin, like more fair than my pale shade, very fair, and you want like a really, really subtle matte blush. But like, I don't know, man, it's barely shows up. Blush that I love and that I am hoping they're not discontinuing because, well, these ones are actually different. So this is the Kaja Mochi Pop blush and this is the Kaja Bouncy Blendable blush. This one's 02 Atmosphere, this one's Spoil of Mars. They're both beautiful. I love both of these. I did a K-Beauty video trying a bunch of K-Beauty. I have this like soft cream to powder kind of feel. They're not like, to the touch, they don't feel pure cream. They feel very airy, very light, but they just look beautiful on the skin. They blend out nicely. I like both of these. This one is a shade that I don't, you know, tend to go for a lot. It definitely has more purple in it, but it does look different in the pan than it does on your face. But this one has a really pretty sheen to it. And then this one just gives this very soft, like diffused kind of look to your cheeks. Really like this formula. I think this one is permanent, and then the Mochi Pop one is limited edition. Everything's gonna be linked down below, so hopefully I can find links to both of these. But if you're wondering, they're beautiful. Kaja is way more affordable if you get it on Korean sites specifically than like Sephora. A drugstore palette I've been loving and I feel like you need for the fall if you like these kind of shades. The Revolution Ultimate Nudes Dark Palette. So they actually have, I think, 3 different shades. I got the dark one just because I liked the tones the best and I wanted them to be like really rich. I tested this in the 10 under $10 video, all drugstore makeup under $10, and this is so beautiful. The pigmentation is there. The mattes blend like a dream. They're so easy to blend, especially for like deeper, rich colors like this. I've tried it with different eye primers. Looks amazing with every eye primer, concealer I've tried it with. The mattes also have no fallout. Every time I've used this, I don't notice a single ounce of fallout on my face. And when I first tried this, I did like an intense, deep, smoky kind of eye in that video. No fallout, not patchy at all. Really beautiful. If you like these kinds of tones, I mean, this is stunning. I've been retrying the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, which I used to love. I have the shade 10 Fair. Just doesn't give the kind of coverage and finish that I'm used to. Or maybe my under eyes have just changed and it no longer looks good on me anymore. I don't know. But I feel like this concealer used to look so pretty and like have a nice kind of creaminess to it. Now, no matter what I do, how I apply it, letting it sit on, not sit on, I don't know. It looks good initially and then it just doesn't wear well on me. It's just creasing on me and kind of wearing off. It's just not staying on my eyes well. So maybe it's just my skin now, my under eyes now, but I don't know. This one isn't as good as I remember. The worst eyeliner I've tried in a long time. This is the Undone Beauty liner. I picked this up on Ulta. I got it in a brown shade. Tried this in a recent video. This one, you put it on the waterline, it's off. A couple minutes later, don't know where it went. Where'd you go? Which country are you in? I don't know, but it's fully off. And then when you try to blend it on the top, like as a smudging liner, also just completely disappears. This is the weirdest eyeliner. Also transfers up if you put it on the top. Like, it's just save your money. Big no. This is another product from that video, the Wet n Wild Primer Serum. So this has bakuchiol in it, which is like a natural form of retinol. It has lavender. It smells like kind of lavendery, but also just like very fragranced. This one breaks me out. Every time I've worn this, it's broken me out. So it's not gonna be one I'm reaching for, but basically it's just like it's exactly what it says. Primer serum. Primer serums are something to me where I usually get the glow from my SPF. So unless it's a product that like really makes my makeup stay on well throughout the day, I don't really feel the need, because I feel like between my vitamin C serum and then SPF, like I have the moisture, I have the glow. So for me, I'd rather use like a blurring primer. So I just don't really see this like fitting in my routine regardless, even if it didn't break me out. It doesn't fill in the pores at all. I didn't particularly notice at the end of the night that my makeup looked better. So the Armis Beauty blush, 3-dimension hydro powder blush, I've talked about before. I love the shade Pomegranate Fizz. So when this was on sale on Sephora, I picked up the shade Mai Tai. And the way I like to use these is not as really like an all over blush. It's more of like layering on top of another blush or using as like a highlighter, basically like a blush topper. And that's how I used it today. And that is the only way I like this shade, is basically using it as a highlighter. It looks beautiful as a highlighter if you want that like really peachy, goldy kind of look, which I feel like is kind of more summery, but also the peach tones I think look nice for fall. This one I don't love as much as Pomegranate Fizz. For me, Pomegranate Fizz just really does it for me. The thing I love with this product is that you can't see it sitting on your skin. It doesn't look like a textured, stripey kind of highlighter. It just like melts in nicely and still gives you that glow like a highlighter would, but it's a blush, so it doesn't have the same kind of like texture to it. This is the Ole Henriksen Strength Trainer Peptide Boost Moisturizer. I've been trying this off and on for a long time now. I like moisturizers where when I wake up in the morning, my skin feels and looks like visibly plump and moisturized, and I just never noticed that with this one. I wouldn't say it's like a bad product. I don't mind it. It does the job. It is more of like a thick cream, which I do like. I also don't love the smell of this. I don't know, it just kind of bothers me. It feels like citrusy, which I don't associate with nighttime. But it has vegan peptides, ceramides, and collagen. I don't know, I just don't notice like a big difference with my skin with this one. If you want something similar where it doesn't give you like a ton of glow, but it gives you moisture, I would just say go with the CeraVe one from the drugstore, like the one in the purple container, nighttime. That's what I used when I was on Accutane. It's amazing. That one I think does a way better job of like really moisturizing your skin. This is another SPF. It's the Rose Inc Solar Power Luminous SPF 30 Serum. Personally, I don't love this kind of packaging. I find it annoying because sometimes you get it out right, sometimes you don't. This is very glowy. I do really like this one though. It has this really nice, I would say like creamy kind of serum feel. It does feel very moisturizing. I think if you have dry skin, you might really like this. I don't think it's gonna be for everyone. And I do think like you can achieve still a moisture and a glow with more affordable SPF. So it's not like it's absolutely necessary, but I do like it. The scent is a little like medicinal to me, or naturally. It has that kind of like root smell. Yeah, like it kind of smells like dirt. This guy is just straight up bad. This is the Krice Cheek Flirt Face Stick. These are so stiff, so difficult to blend out. They basically don't budge. They're super tacky. I give these a 1 out of 10 only because the shades are nice. Like I do like the shade, especially I like this shade, but I don't even know why I'm telling you because don't buy it. Yeah, they just do not blend. I've tried it on no makeup because I was thinking like, all right, maybe it just doesn't go well over foundation. Let me try it on days that I'm literally just wearing like a moisturizer and SPF. Nope, still gets stuck, does not blend, super stiff, super tacky, sticky, nope. Next up we have the Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firm Lip Filler Plumping Peptide Complex. So it says it instantly and over time hydrates. Okay, the grammar on the back here really bothers me. It's supposed to be a hydrating lip treatment that helps fill out, plump, and smooth the appearance of lips, increases the volume, reduces the look of lip lines, and is supposed to leave your lips feeling moisturized, soft, and supple with invisible, natural-looking finish. So I have to say, I haven't quite tried a lip product like this before. It's interesting. It is slightly smoothing, like it does fill in the lip lines a bit. I do agree with the natural looking finish. It's definitely not glossy at all. If anything, it almost has more of like a soft matte kind of finish. So it's nice to use under other lipsticks, but it also can be like an actual lip treatment that you just wear at night. It's called lip filler, Instant Firm Lip Filler. It doesn't give you any kind of volume, doesn't make your lips look bigger, to me at least, but it does help with the filling in of the lip line. So I would say if anything, it's like a lip smoother. The thing is, if you're gonna be using this underneath other lip products, you wanna put on your lip liner first, because if you put this on, the lip liner is just not going to want to go over top. So put on your lip liner first, then put this on, then put on whatever lip products you're going in with. It almost has like a Bliss Texy kind of feel to me. I don't think I have anything else that I can like compare it to. But I would say just be realistic that it's definitely not like lip filler in a bottle, I would say. This is the Haus Labs Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder in the shade Neutral Peach. So I've definitely talked about this a lot like a year or so ago whenever this first came out and I was trying it. And I have kind of updated thoughts on it that I wanted to share. So now that I have two Holy Grail loose setting powders, I feel like those have set the bar so high for blurring powders that it's very easy for me to just say no to other ones because there's like a noticeable difference. And I feel like that's how it is with this. And I would just say compared to the Amicale, they're like entirely different levels of blurring. Amicale is up here, Haus Labs is like down here. So if you're going for the blurring, I would just say save your money. I also think the Amicale is cheaper than this one. This is the Give Beauty Amplifying Blush Duo in the shade Lasting Love. So I tried this in a try on haul video. So there's two different shades in here. There's a more matte one and then one with a glow. It smells kind of like CoverGirl blush, but with like a slightly vanilla scent. So I'm wearing these on my face right now and I like these. I think they're pretty. The only thing is, if you saw my Raves and Rejects video, my recent one, I found the most incredible blush palette that I basically can get the exact same look, but the blushes stay on all day. And it's from the drugstore. I'll have a link down below, but that one is under 10 bucks. It's incredible. And I just feel like kind of why now, you know? This blush palette, the way I use it is I normally just kind of mix the two shades together, swirl it with my blush and apply. And whenever I use this, I do like how my blush looks. The matte is kind of nice and softening. When you're like comparing it to something else, I'm like, I can't say that this is absolutely worth it. Is it pretty? Yes. A setting spray I've been loving is this one. I tried this in the K Beauty video. This is affordable. It had amazing reviews on YesStyle, which is why I ordered it. And I love, my favorite thing about this is, well, a couple things. First, it has this really nice, super fine mist, very fine. It does have like a powdery kind of fragrance, which I could do without, but it's not bad and it goes away. The thing I love about this is that it doesn't alter the finish of your foundation. Like I would say maybe 2%. Most setting sprays are like, it can take you from matte to extremely glowy, or it definitely adds like, it changes the finish of your foundation usually. And this one I would say is very, very, very slight. I showed you actually applying this on top of the matte Lawless powder foundation so you could see. And keeping in mind that the sun was like reflecting on my face in this shot. So it is adding like a slight sheen, but really it's like pretty undetectable, which I love because sometimes you don't want the finish of your foundation to change. You just want to set everything, lock it in, but you don't want to completely alter the finish that you just worked hard on to get between your foundation and powder. So Love this for that reason. Ooh, I did not like this. I don't even know if they still make this, honestly. I got this at like an outlet a while ago. I just never tried it. Kept it in the box. But this is the Estee Lauder Double Matte Oil Control Press Powder. This looks so cakey on the face. Would not recommend. Looks very powdery, very cakey, very heavy. Tried this under my eyes. That was tragic. Would not recommend. This is another SPF, the Caires All Day Airy Sunscreen, SPF 50. This is another K-Beauty one. Japanese and Korean brands just make, I think, some of the best SPFs of all time, and they tend to be under like 20 bucks, which is another bonus. The ingredients are typically better. They're just higher quality. They usually don't have like a white cast, and that's how this one is. No white cast. This one is very watery though, and I think it says that, right? Yeah, water-based gel texture. It's definitely very watery, very liquidy, which I don't think will be for everyone. It feels kind of more like a watery kind of serum formula, and this one is very glowy. Out of all of them, I would say this is the most glowy. Well, this and the Dermatology, but this one, like I said, I think is more like oily looking. This one still has a nice glow. It's just very glowy. For me, I like this one. I don't love it. It's not in my like top SPFs. This is the About Face just clear lip gloss. Really like the packaging of this. Really pretty packaging. So it has a minty scent, which I really like. I love a good minty gloss. However, to me, I don't find this to be glossy like at all. On the gloss scale, I would say it's like a 2 out of 10. It also just goes away very quickly. So there's just way better clear glosses out there. Get the Peri one. That one's also affordable, way better, super glossy, plumping. This is the Revolution Shimmer Balm. This is in the shade Glimmer, and it says it's a lip gloss with vitamin E. I picked this up on Ulta because I was hoping it was gonna be a dupe for my Fenty, why am I blanking on the name of it, but the light pink, like shimmery one I use all the time. This one I don't hate. However, it definitely has more glitter in it than the Fenty. Like, it almost reminds me of the Lip Smackers. Like, remember those really shiny glosses back in the day? It reminds me a little bit of that. And when you just put like a little bit right at the top, it can give a nice reflect. Like if you just put it right in the center like that, but it does have a little too much glitter in it for me. I definitely prefer the Fenty one, and they're not dupes. Okay, this guy I talked about in high-end products that are worth the hype video, but it's the Makeup by Mario Cream Blush in the shade Just Peachy. I haven't tried the other shades, so I'm not speaking to those ones. The shade Just Peachy gives you the prettiest peachy pinky pop. It has this like really nice brightness to it and a very pretty sheen. It just like sits on the skin so nicely. It has this beautiful like sheen to it. No shimmer, no radiance, no glitter, nothing, just really nice sheen. This shade to me is like the standout. So if you get this, I'm only recommending the shade Just Peachy because that's all I've tried, but beautiful. I saw this on major sale on Amazon, so I was like, you know what? Let me try this bad boy out again. This is the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette. I always love the tones in the Naked palettes, especially like the Naked 2 palette is really where it's at for me. So I wanted to give this one a go again. I had suspicions about this, but it's now confirmed. The Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes just super irritate my eyes. My eyes get like super burny, super red. There's some ingredient in here that does not agree with me. And my mom and I were running errands when I was wearing this one day, and I mentioned that, and she said the same thing. She said she has an Urban Decay powder, and she was like, maybe that's what's irritating my eyes. And I don't know. If you've been using an Urban Decay palette and experiencing that, like, maybe it's the palette. And this palette specifically, formula, I do feel like there's just kind of better formulas out there now. This is the Catrice, the Smoother Plumping Primer Concentrate with vegan collagen. I just don't see a whole lot of anything. It just feels like you're putting on like a skincare kind of serum to me. I don't notice any plumping. I definitely don't notice any filling in of the pores or blurring or smoothing. Like, it really just feels like a serum to me. I mean, I don't see the point of this one. This is the Belif True Cream Aqua Bomb Sunscreen. I was excited to try this because I love the one I use at night, and their eye cream I love. I like the packaging of this too. It's like a satisfying, I don't know, it's satisfying to squeeze. It's like a harder bottle, but it might be difficult to get the end out. I don't know, because I haven't gotten down to the end yet, but I like that this one fully absorbs in, no white cast, just completely clear as it blends out. It has the similar kind of like Belif scent, which is like a very botanical. I like it. It reminds me of like a spa. It gives a nice sheen without being too glowy, doesn't look oily, gives a nice like healthy look to the skin. I enjoy this one. Doesn't feel too slippery to me, doesn't feel too tacky. Just like a good in the middle kind of one. It does feel hydrating and lightweight. Next up we have the M Cosmetics Pillow Plush Blush in the shade Peanut. I don't know why this is called Peanut. This is interesting because I feel like it's one of those products that just doesn't look very appealing in the pan. Like I probably would never, if I saw this in store, like pick out this shade because it just kind of looks unimpressive in the pan. The thing I like is that formula of this is one of those like creamy but matte feeling formulas where it just gives this really pretty like airy peachy kind of look. This does remind me of the Kaja product. This one I can only use on fair skin. It's not quite dark enough on my tanner shade, but on fair skin it looks just like, yeah, just like an everyday, very natural. I'd say if you're like not a blush person, but you want a little bit of color on your cheeks, you might like the tone of this. Certain brushes definitely make a difference. Some brushes is like a big no. You definitely have to use like a cream blush brush with this. And this one definitely is more matte than the Kaja. This is the Cosrx Lip Plump. That is no joke. So this is AHA, BHA, vitamin C lip plumper. So this is supposed to be kind of like, I think like a lip treatment and plumper in one. The tingle is next level. This is so intense. I actually don't see any difference with this whatsoever though. It looks like really nice and just like glossy and it gives your lips that nice hydrated, filled in kind of look. But the tingle is intense. Like I think too intense to comfortably keep on or comfortably sleep in. And I don't notice that my lips look any bigger with this one. So for me, it's a no. I wanted to retry this. It's the AOA Studio Liquid Concealer. So AOA is Shop Miss A's brand. It's very affordable. Most things are like a couple dollars or $1 depending on the line. And this is their brand liquid concealer. This is in the shade Porcelain. Underneath my eyes, it just looked very dry, very crusty. It has good coverage, but for me, it's one of those that it kind of like initially looks like it has a lot of coverage, but then as you wear it, it just goes really downhill. Like darkness starts to come through and then also just looked so dry and like crepey under there that it's a no. This is the Etude Face Blur Smoothing. This has SPF 33 in it actually, so it's like a smoothing priming kind of product, but it also has SPF, which is pretty cool. I can't say I have any other product like this, so I think it's unique in that way because it has SPF in it. If you're someone who likes a more like matte finish primer, actually, you know what this reminds me of now that I'm thinking about it? It actually reminds me a bit of the NYX Marshmallow Primer. But this one is a little bit different in that it goes on feeling very silky and moisturizing and comfortable. And then as it dries down, it dries into like a pretty matte kind of finish. I wouldn't say it's the most pore filling primer, but as just an all over like face blurring product, it gives a slight smoothing kind of effect and it does have a more matte finish. I wouldn't say this is one that's like kind of like a targeted pore filling product. This is more of like an overall kind of soft blur like the NYX Marshmallow Primer, which I love that one. I do feel like that one makes my makeup actually like stay on better. And I feel like this is a nice one to use under powder foundation because it dries down to like it has a slight hold to it, slight stick to it, but it's not too tacky to put powder foundation on top of. I do like this one. This is the Smashbox Super Fanned Out Mascara. I think this is a newer launch from them and I was excited to try it because it has a rubbery kind of wand, which I usually like, especially like layered with other stuff. This one to me just did nothing. Layered on its own, it just does not look good on my lashes. Gave no kind of like length, volume, separation, anything, just like very blah. So especially for a high-end mascara, would not recommend. This is the Laka Wild Brow Shaper. This one was also in the K Beauty video. I just wanted to try this because it's affordable and I like a holding kind of brow product. For me, this one just doesn't hold enough. Like whether I coat both sides, lift it up, press it down, do it at the end, do it before, it just, I don't get enough hold with it. I have coarse, like thick brow hairs, so it might do way better on you if you have kind of like lighter, thinner hair. Because like right now I have the NYX Brow Glue but the NYX clear one I have in right now, and I did my makeup maybe like, I don't know, I've had it on for probably like an hour and a half. They're not holding anymore like they were when I first applied it either, and that is like very holding for a lot of people, so my hair might just be like too coarse. All right, we're coming down on the last couple here. So the Pore Packed Powder, also a K Beauty one. So this is a pressed powder, obviously. I tried 2 different powders in that video. The McQueen one was a definite no. This one I like. It does a little something. It's not incredible or like life-changing to me. But again, when I compare it to like the Michelin powder, it's definitely a few notches below that as far as blurring. It does do a little softening, a little blurring, and this one is pressed, the Michelin is loose. But again, if I want a blurring powder, like it's just gonna be the Michelin for me. But I like that this one has like a little bit of brightness to it. Like it actually does have a slight white tint, which sometimes you want, because sometimes you do want to like brighten up your under eyes or something. It's not a white powder, but it does have a little bit of brightness to it, which I like. Okay, this is a cleansing balm I've been trying for a while now. It's the Beauty of Joseon Radiance Cleansing Balm. This is like the same brand of the Viral SPF, which I do really like the Beauty of Joseon SPF. I use quite a bit of this. I've been trying this one out a lot. Cleansing balms for me, it's all about, is there residue after you rinse it off? Like, how does it rinse off? And also, how does it remove eye makeup? And for me, this one just doesn't, even compared to the Then I Met You cleansing balm. That's like my number one. That one just removes eye makeup so much better. This one I do have to go in kind of twice when I'm using it to really remove all the eye makeup. But I do like that this one doesn't leave like a gross, super filmy kind of thing on your face. It's not like too oily. I think just stick with their SPF if you want to try something from the brand. All right, that was everything. I think that was fairly fast this time. Let me know how I did. Everything will be linked down below in the description box. And just a reminder, you can use the code Taylor on Anisa Beauty at the link down below, and I'll have all of my favorites linked there. I do want to say my lip combo so I don't forget, and so you have it. I'm wearing, okay, this is interesting. I didn't feel ready to talk about it yet because I'm still trying it, but it's the Stila Calligraphy lip stain. It's basically like the lip stain in pen form, and the shade of this, I can't find a good shade for me, but this one in Amelia is like a fuchsia kind of color, but how I have been liking it is just lining the top and very bottom, and then right before it's dry, like blending it out with my hand really quick, and then I put something over top. That's how I'm currently trying it, to see like how it holds as far as just like a lip shaping kind of liner. And then over top I put the LA Girl Shockwave in Coquette liner with Peri Para 02 gloss. For bronzer I use the LA Girl concealer in a like bronzy kind of shade, which I'll have down below. And then for foundation I used a mix, kind of random. I used the Maybelline Superstay tint, and then I also used the Fenty Stick tinted moisturizer, which I've actually been loving. I used that on like the center of my face. And then, as you saw, the Lawless powder over top. And I think I told you everything else. But I hope you enjoyed this beauty reviews. My last one I'll have linked down below. Let me know if you want these to continue, which products you want me to try out next. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.